Hollywood in panic. Jimin and Jungkook's Season 2 trailer called "More Cinematic Than American Reality TV." Is the US industry falling behind? What happens when a 30-second trailer triggers an industry-wide crisis? How can a short teaser, barely long enough to showcase a storyline, send shockwaves from Los Angeles to New York and force Hollywood to confront a truth it has avoided for years? And why did it take two Korean superstars, simply traveling through Switzerland and Vietnam, to make American producers question whether their own reality shows have fallen dangerously behind? These questions erupted across the US entertainment world the moment Disney Plus Korea released the official trailer for Are You Sure? Season 2, featuring BTS members Jimin and Jungkook in their first post-military travel series together. What should have been a lighthearted, charming teaser instantly turned into a global conversation that Hollywood never expected, and perhaps never wanted. Instead of seeing a casual travel variety program, American viewers were confronted with visuals that looked impossibly polished, almost too cinematic to belong to the reality genre. Suddenly, critics didn't just react, they sounded the alarm. The first shock came from a viral headline on an American entertainment platform that read, "This is insane. Jimin and Jungkook's trailer looks more cinematic than anything Hollywood released this year." At first, it seemed like an exaggeration. But within hours, thousands of viewers echoed the same sentiment, calling the teaser unbelievable, unfair, and better produced than half of Hollywood's 2025 output. Why did it hit so hard? Because American audiences are not used to seeing reality TV look like this. They are used to predictable editing, washed-out color grading, shaky handheld footage, and manufactured drama. But the trailer for Are You Sure? Season 2 defied all of that. Every frame looked intentional, curated, almost poetic. The drone shots glided over Swiss landscapes with breathtaking precision. Close-ups of Jimin and Jungkook appeared soft yet emotionally charged, as though captured by a director who understood how to elevate reality into art. And suddenly the question everyone feared became impossible to ignore. Is Korea setting a new global standard for reality production? Hollywood producers, some publicly, many anonymously, began admitting they were shocked, caught off guard, and embarrassed by how effortlessly the Korean trailer outperformed their own high-budget programming. One American producer even confessed in an interview, "If this is what Korean variety shows look like now, we're in trouble." That one sentence changed the tone of the entire conversation, because this isn't just about Jimin and Jungkook. This is about an industry known for leading global entertainment suddenly realizing it may no longer be the leader. This is about Hollywood confronting a reality where Korean teams, working with smaller crews, tighter budgets, and far less structural support, are producing work that rivals or even surpasses American productions. How did this happen? When did the shift begin? And why does this trailer feel like a warning sign rather than a simple moment of hype? The deeper issue lies in Hollywood's stagnation. For years, the American reality TV model has relied on formulaic concepts and quantity over quality. But Korea, driven by innovation and growing global influence, has steadily refined its production standards. And Are You Sure? Season 2 is the proof. A travel show shot with the precision of a feature film, edited with the flow of a prestige documentary, and carried by stars whose natural chemistry is powerful enough to hold an entire series together without fabricated drama. What makes the trailer even more disruptive is not just its beauty, but its confidence. It doesn't try to imitate Hollywood. It doesn't follow Western formulas. Instead, it introduces its own visual identity, clean, warm, intimate, and deeply cinematic. It shows what reality TV looks like when produced by people who refuse to treat the genre as disposable entertainment, and that's exactly why Hollywood feels threatened. The US entertainment world expected competition from Korea in music, dramas, and films, but not in reality programming. Reality TV was supposed to be America's playground, its safe domain. Yet here comes a Korean travel show, effortlessly undermining decades of assumed superiority with a single teaser. Now, Hollywood finds itself asking uncomfortable questions. Has Korea overtaken the US in production quality? Has American entertainment become too formulaic, too lazy, too predictable? Is the world now looking to Seoul, not Los Angeles, for the future of visual storytelling? The most terrifying possibility is also the most realistic. The shift has already happened, and Hollywood failed. To notice until now, the Jimin and Jungkook trailer isn't just a teaser. It is a turning point. It is a message. It is a wake-up call that the rest of the world is no longer content to follow Hollywood's lead. And for the first time in decades, the US entertainment powerhouse must confront the possibility that it is no longer setting the standard. It is struggling to keep up with it, and if a 30-second clip can cause this much chaos, what will happen when the full season premieres? Hollywood is holding its breath. The world is watching, and Korea is quietly rewriting the rules. How did a travel variety show, something Hollywood has long dismissed as a light genre, end up becoming the center of an industry-wide crisis? Why were American producers suddenly glued to their screens, dissecting every frame of a Korean trailer with the same intensity they normally reserve for Oscar nominees? And what does it say about the state of American entertainment when a simple teaser from Seoul can send shockwaves through the heart of Los Angeles? The answers began unfolding as media outlets across the United States scrambled to publish think pieces, reaction videos, and behind-the-scenes analyses. What surprised critics wasn't just the trailer's brilliance, it was the emotional response it evoked. American viewers felt something they weren't used to feeling when watching reality TV. Awe. Not superficial excitement, not cheap adrenaline, but genuine, cinematic awe. Hollywood insiders suddenly found themselves asking questions they had avoided for years. Why did the lighting look so natural, yet so polished? How did the editing feel so seamless, almost musical, without resorting to flashy cuts? Why did the camera movements feel purposeful, composed, and deeply intimate? And perhaps the most unnerving question of all, if Korea can achieve this level of quality in a variety show, what will they accomplish in genres America still claims to dominate? The debate only intensified when film bloggers began comparing the trailer's cinematography to that of award-winning travel documentaries. Some even argued that the Swiss and Vietnamese landscapes were captured with more artistry than scenes from recent Hollywood features. The precision of the drone shots became a point of obsession, leading many to wonder what equipment the Korean team used, what lenses, what color science. Suddenly, American directors were studying a reality show, not to mock it, but to learn from it. Hollywood didn't expect this. Hollywood wasn't prepared for this. And Hollywood certainly didn't want to admit that a travel variety series starring two Korean idols had exposed a deeper problem. America's entertainment system had become predictable. What made the situation even more uncomfortable was the way the trailer highlighted authenticity, something American reality TV has quietly abandoned in favor of drama-driven narratives. Jimin and Jungkook weren't staged, weren't scripted, and weren't placed in contrived situations. The camera simply followed them as they navigated new cities, laughed at little moments, reacted to mistakes, and allowed their natural friendship to set the tone. The rawness of their bond, without forced conflict, without producers manipulating expression, became the emotional heartbeat of the trailer. American audiences noticed. They noticed it immediately. Comments flooded social media saying things like, "Why does this feel more real than American reality TV? Why can't Hollywood capture genuine emotion like this anymore? And how is a Korean variety show beating everyone at their own game?" The truth stung because it was undeniable. Jimin and Jungkook didn't need dramatic music, fabricated tension, or chaotic editing to hold viewers' attention. Their presence itself was compelling. Their expressions were sincere. Their friendship felt like a cinematic story without even trying to be one. Hollywood producers began whispering about an uncomfortable possibility. Maybe authenticity has more power than spectacle. Maybe audiences are tired of manufactured drama. Maybe the future of reality entertainment isn't in chaos, but in connection. And maybe, just maybe, Korea figured that out long before America did. As the discussion deepened, analysts began pointing out a pattern. Korea had already conquered global music. Korea had already transformed global drama production with K-dramas that rival Hollywood storytelling. Korea had already disrupted film prestige with historic wins on the award circuit. So why shouldn't Korea also challenge America's reality TV dominance? That question spread through industry circles like wildfire. And soon another, even darker question emerged. What if this isn't the beginning of Korea catching up? What if this is the moment America finally realizes Korea overtook them years ago? The Jimin and Jungkook trailer didn't just spark admiration, it sparked fear. It revealed a widening gap between the two industries, a gap Hollywood had refused to acknowledge. And once exposed, that gap became impossible to ignore. Producers began holding emergency meetings. Directors began discussing new strategies. Streaming platforms started reevaluating their budgets, wondering whether they had been allocating resources to the wrong genres. Some executives were even caught analyzing the Korean trailer frame by frame, looking for patterns or codes that would explain how the production achieved such a mesmerizing visual language. But the secret wasn't a mystery. The secret was simple: passion. The Korean team cared. They cared about storytelling. They cared about beauty. They cared about authenticity. They treated even a casual travel moment as an opportunity for art. And that passion translated into visuals Hollywood couldn't replicate, not because they lacked skill, but because they had stopped trying. The irony of the situation is painful. Hollywood once set the global standard. Now Hollywood is studying a reality show to rediscover the magic it lost. And while American producers scramble to decode their competitors' success, Korea continues moving forward, unbothered, unafraid, and unwavering in its commitment to excellence. The real question now is not whether Korea will surpass Hollywood. That moment may have already passed. The real question is how Hollywood will respond, and whether they even can. As the debate intensifies, one truth becomes increasingly clear. The world has changed, and Hollywood is no longer the only center of gravity, and all it took to reveal that shift was a 30-second trailer starring two men who weren't even trying to make history. They simply did. Why is Hollywood so rattled? Why would an industry that has survived wars, streaming revolutions, economic crashes, and cultural shifts suddenly lose its composure over a 30-second Korean trailer? The answer is more complex and more painful than anyone in Los Angeles wants to admit. Because beneath the surface of professional admiration lies something deeper, something far more unsettling. Fear, not fear of BTS. Not fear of Jimin or Jungkook individually. Not even fear of K-pop's influence. What Hollywood fears now is the collapse of an illusion it has protected for decades, the illusion that America is the unquestioned leader of global entertainment. And the most astonishing part is that the threat didn't come from a blockbuster film or a billion-dollar franchise. It came from a reality show, a genre Hollywood has long treated as trivial. The shock began quietly. Executives whispered in private meetings that the trailer looked too clean, too intentional, too artistic. Cinematographers noted the impossibly crisp depth of field. Editors admired the cohesive rhythm of the cuts. Color graders pointed out how every shade of blue, green, and gold seemed to fall effortlessly into place. It wasn't a happy accident. It was mastery, but even as admiration grew, so did panic. Because Hollywood suddenly realized something devastating. Korea wasn't just catching up. Korea was outpacing them in the very categories America once claimed as its stronghold: production quality, innovation, emotional connection, and artistic precision. How did it come to this? When did America begin losing the spark that once defined its entertainment legacy? Some analysts argue that Hollywood became too comfortable, too attached to formulas, too dependent on franchises and recycled ideas. Others suggest that streaming platforms, in their rush to produce mass content, sacrificed quality for quantity. And some simply say that Hollywood underestimated Korea. Again, but as the debate deepened, a more chilling question emerged. What if the downfall was already visible long ago, and nobody dared to speak about it? The release of the Jimin and Jungkook trailer made it impossible to ignore. Every second of the teaser, from the calm sunrise in the Alps to the emotional realism in the boys' expressions, showcased a production team that refused to compromise. Korean crews didn't treat the show as filler content. They treated it like art. And audiences felt it instantly. The problem for Hollywood is that viewers can sense authenticity. They can spot passion. They can recognize when a creation is driven by heart rather than obligation. And more importantly, they can tell when a product is shaped by genuine love for the craft, something that has become increasingly rare in a system dominated by profit-driven formulas. Hollywood executives know this. They know the world is changing. They know global audiences no longer worship American media the way they once did. And that is precisely why this trailer hit a nerve. It proved that Korea is no longer a challenger. It is the standard.